Hello, and welcome back to The Shift. We're so glad you're here with us again on this Thursday. Kate's here with us. Yay, we're so excited to dive into this topic today with all of you. The topic, as you can see here at the top, right? Like when all the things like aren't working the way that they used to, and we're going to get into what that actually means with you today. But before we get started, I want to just make sure we're also live over here on Instagram. So if you're on Instagram right now, say hello. Yes, we are live now over there too. Amazing. Yes. All right. So before we jump into this really juicy topic today, we're actually going to start with a little bit of a neuro tool. So we're going to take just maybe 30 to 60 seconds here with you just to get into our bodies a little bit, just to be able to, maybe take a deeper breath or just slow the thoughts, even just by 1% here. So I'd love to invite you just to begin to notice your upper body. So we're going to start with the kind of like the shoulder area, the neck area, your ears, like just bringing some general awareness to your upper body right now. Just letting your system orient to this one area. Good. And I'd love to invite you to begin to bring your hands up to your ears. So you're going to begin to bring your hands up to your ears and we're going to just gently pull the ears just slightly out from your head. Yeah, there we go. So the right ear and the left ear. And if that's enough, you can just stay here. There's also an option just to begin to slowly drop your head. So you're going to look slowly, like bringing the neck down as you hold the ears. And then slowly looking up. Yeah, so we're going to do a couple rounds of this together. And again, if you want to just stay in a neutral position with your ears, like you don't have to move, you don't want to move, that's totally fine. That's optional to add in the neck movement here. Yeah, moving really slowly. And you might even start to notice like a slightly deeper breath coming in or like wanting to swallow a bit more. Engaging that vagus nerve, which is your 10th cranial nerve. This is one of the longest nerves in your body. There's a sigh or a hum. Yeah. Okay, we'll just do the last 3 seconds here. Yeah. Beautiful. And then just slowly beginning to come to a neutral position, releasing the ears. Yeah, dropping your hands. And yeah, if there's any other movement that would feel good for the maybe the next 5-10 seconds. Yeah, like maybe rolling your neck around or your shoulders. We can hold so much up here because we're like on our phones all day and on our computers. So yeah, it feels really good just to stretch. Yeah. Yeah, and feel free to drop in the chat what that was like for you. Maybe for you, you notice like a slightly deeper breath, or maybe you notice like some warmth or some heat, or you were just swallowing a bit more. Or maybe it was more thought-based. You noticed like your thoughts were like less racy, or maybe you noticed, like just different thoughts, like the content of your thoughts was slightly different than when we first got started. Anything you noticed, Kate?
Yeah, well, when you first invited us at the beginning just to notice like our upper body, my awareness came like right here to my jaw. And I've had, just like an emotional last, 24 hours, as you know, Laura, personally. Yeah. And so for me, I tend to hold a lot here when I'm going through things that feel more emotional in nature. And so as we were doing the ear tug with the head movements, I was having a lot of saliva show up in my mouth, which is, I know, right, as a sign that there's more regulation coming in, and I could really notice that. And then, my breath kind of just naturally deepened. And then at the very end, as I started to bring my awareness back to my jaw, it felt just a lot softer. Yeah.
Oh, I'm so glad to hear it. Felt like your jaw felt a lot softer, Kate. Yeah, and I love how you were even just noticing Yeah, like again, the last 24 hours have been a lot, and like where kind of like that tends to maybe kind of store up a little bit in your system. And
Mm.
for anyone else, maybe you feel like you want to drop something in the chat, maybe drop a one, like maybe you like notice like when you've had kind of like a big, maybe a stressful day, or you had a discussion with someone, or just like a lot of meetings or something with your kids, like maybe you notice like your jaw gets like really tight, or you start to notice your shoulders like go up towards your ears, or yeah, maybe there's something you notice physically that's like a little bit of a pattern that your system has.
Mhm.
Yeah. I'm
Yeah.
so glad that felt a little bit looser for you, Kate. Amazing.
Yeah. Feeling really
Yeah.
good now.
Good. Amazing. So yeah, we're, like I said, so excited to dive in this topic today, which is why all the things that used to work don't work anymore and what that actually means. So before we begin, I want to just take maybe just 10 seconds here, just as I name that title, that why all the things that used to work don't work anymore. Just maybe noticing like the first like thought or maybe like emotion that comes up for you right now as I name that. Like maybe there's even a specific like situation right now in your life that's like coming to mind or that your system's bringing up for you. Like all these things that like used to work just aren't working in the same way anymore. Yeah. And if that's you right now, I wanted to say we see you. You're not alone. There's so many women and men too that we are talking to right now that are expressing this, that have been sharing about this. And this is why we also felt really led to gently pressed to speak about this, because we were just hearing it from so many people. And also just personally too, including ourselves. Like Kate and I have definitely been there. And so you're not alone in that if that's something that you're feeling or experiencing right now. So I want to kind of get into like a little bit what we mean by this aspect of, you know, trying all the things and it's like maybe they're just not working in the same way anymore. And so for me, when I was like thinking about this topic today, or when Kate and I were thinking about it, the word that kept coming up for me was like this quiet frustration. Like this internal like frustration. So it's not like something super loud, although for some of you it might be pretty loud at this point. But maybe for others of you, it's like more internal. Like you're looking around, everything looks fine on the outside, right? Everything like looks pretty good on paper, but like internally you're feeling like just frustrated. Like there's just something that isn't quite working. And maybe you're doing the work, like you're doing the regulation exercises. I know Kate and I are seeing, you know, nervous system regulation growing and expanding, which is so exciting. We love that more people have this language around the nervous system, and there's a lot of more resources available too online and on YouTube, right? Like around like regulating your nervous system and these different exercises that you can do to help support your system, similar to one we just did at the very beginning, right? Which is amazing. And you might be doing some of those practices, like maybe you're spending even intentional time in the morning to like regulate your system by doing a few exercises like breath work, or maybe you're journaling, or again, you're showing up in your business or you're showing up in your career every day. You're maybe even making like some investments in some things too, like strategy wise, like you're like, okay, this is the year 2026. I'm going to get so clear and I'm going to grow my business to like this level, right? And I'm going to invest in like all the strategy to get me there. So just first of all, just drop a one in the chat if that's like anything I'm naming here is like resonating with you, meaning like, yeah, I'm doing the regulation exercises, maybe I'm journaling. I've been doing some mindset work, like really trying to like work on my mindset and my beliefs.
There's a maximalist version and part in me, Laura, that's like,
yeah,
oh, that used to be me, and it was like all of the above. So you might be someone that's like sitting here being like, I'm doing all of those things. I have this like awesome checklist of things that I'm doing or that I used to do. And yet it just feels like it's not working in the same way that it used to. And if you're feeling that in any way, I just want you to know, like, yeah, I've been there and you're not alone.
Thanks for naming that, Kate. Yeah, and I've been there too. So I love that you're naming that. For me, it kind of showed up in the aspect of, like you said, all those things. And also for me, it was like I had a part of my system that would go really into like researching. So like there was this part of me that was like, if I just get more knowledge, like if I just know more about this topic, right, through like listening to podcasts, reading the books, like then like, right, I'm going to be able to get ahead of it, right? Because I'm going to like really know it. Yeah. So I love that you're naming that. And also just for any of you too who are watching live right now, if any of this is resonating with you, even just by a little bit, like you're like, yes, like you're naming something I haven't been able to put words to. I've been feeling this like quiet frustration. Maybe it's even like a loud frustration. We want to also just name too that we're going to be hosting a live event on March 11th that Kate and I are so excited to put together, to be hosting for you all. And so we're going to be going deeper into this. So we're going to be kind of like planting some of the seeds today that we'll be talking about in this experience, this live experience. So if you want to join us, the link is in our bio. We'll also be dropping the link here in the chat so you can check it out. So we'd love to have you there.
It's going to be so good.
So good. Yeah, I'm so excited. Like they already got some amazing people signing up for this experience. And we just literally announced it yesterday. So people already are resonating with this, like, okay, this message and wanting to learn more. So yeah, kind of getting back to this feeling of the quiet frustration, maybe again, even the loud frustration. So maybe there's like even like a part of you like internally, maybe even saying it feels like, why does it feel like I'm pushing something uphill? And I know I've had that thought in the past. Like, why shouldn't this feel easier by now? Like there's just, or even like, maybe not even just like easier, but just like, I'm doing all the things and yet it's not yielding the result, right? That I used to receive from this practice or from this thing, right? And so again, maybe like you're doing a lot of like pushing through. Maybe there's like late nights, or maybe there's even like some level of like, I just need to get through this. Like I just need to be more disciplined. I just need to like, kind of push through to get to the other side. And if that's you too, I want to say we see you, we hear you. Maybe even again, drop a 1 in the chat if that's something you resonate with. Like you get those internal thoughts of I just got to push through. I just got to like kind of white knuckle my way there. Just got to be more disciplined, right? Yeah.
Yeah, or maybe it's showing up. I just want to add this one piece. This was where I got stuck a lot, or I would get caught in this cycle, was I was trying to like manifest it. And I knew that like I had already gone through burnout. So maybe you too listening, like have already been through burnout. Maybe even you're going through a bit of a season of burnout right now. So you're not quite like maybe pushing in the way that you would have like 10 years ago or even 5 years ago. But maybe it's like there's this quiet part that's like still trying to control.
Mm-hmm.
And it's using techniques like vision boards or manifestation or journaling to still try to like control that outcome. And it's like, oh, if I just do it enough times, and if I just get even more clear, and if I just write it out again and again, it's going to happen. And so it might be showing up, maybe not quite as intense or obvious as it would have, like I said, a decade ago, or even 5 years ago, or even 3 years ago. But it still has that same subtle flavor of like, if I just do more of this, if I just double down on this, then this will happen. Then I'll get what I want, or I'll get what I've said that I'm trying to achieve in this season, whether it's in your business, maybe it's a revenue goal or a speaking engagement or a certain type of client, or maybe it's even something related that's more personal. Maybe you're stepping into motherhood. You're really wanting to step into motherhood, or maybe you just had a child, and there's a lot that happens right when we bring life into this world. So I just wanted to name that, Laura. It was something that was coming up because I know I've been there myself. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, Kate, that's so good. I love that you named that. And for those of you listening, like, again, like maybe that's really resonating for you. So again, love to invite you to drop a 1 if that's something that Kate just named. I know, Kate, that was so beautiful how you just said it, like, because you're right, it might have a slightly different flavor, right? Like it's still the same thing, but it's like slightly different, but there's still the same element, like you said, of control. So maybe you're not like pushing through in the same way that you used to, because you said maybe you burned out in the past, like pretty badly, and you're like, well, I'm not going to do it like that again. So like, but there's still, like you said, like this subtle, like, well, if I just do this, then I can get this outcome, right? Like there's still this like piece of like returning even back to some of the things that maybe you did, like the vision board, the manifestation stuff, the really listening to all the podcast experts, like, I don't know, right? Like to like get the answer or the strategy to get you to where.
Yeah. Or even I'll share really quick personal,
Yeah.
and this is not to knock on this person or
Yeah.
this kind of technique or this tool, but there was a time in the past where I got really into Dr. Joe Dispenza's work and just meditation and, you know, as a nervous system regulation tool, meditation can actually bring us more into dysregulation depending upon where we're coming from and what state we're coming from. And his meditations in particular are quite long.
Yeah.
They're quite long, and he often introduces this really specific breath sequence before you move into a meditation that can be really intense on the body.
Yeah.
And so again, not that like Joe Dispenza is wrong or bad. This is like a very neutral, I'm just giving an example of how this showed up for me. And it's like, I would go in and it's okay, I'm going to start my day and I'm going to do this 45-minute meditation. And I was overriding cues that my body was giving me that was actually not what my body wanted to do that morning. But I was like, no, but I've committed to this and I'm going to do this for this many days. And then I'm going to like see all these outcomes. And so, yeah, it's like on paper, I was using this spiritually aligned, science-driven, science-backed technique that has a large following, right? There's a lot of people that go to his events and retreats and have amazing experiences and do experience miraculous transformation and healing. But it got to a point where my nervous system was not resonating with that approach. And there was a period that, there was like a bit of overriding happening. Yeah. And I eventually was like, oh, okay. Yeah, this is actually not the kind of support that is going to be the most beneficial for me and even the most efficient. Like to sit down and to meditate for 45 minutes inherently is not like, a lot of us don't have time and space for that. And so, I just wanted to name that as something that, whether it's meditation or something else that you're really like centering around and circling around right now, and almost like trying to put your eggs like in that basket, like, well, if I just do this and I just do that, and it on paper looks more healthy or more productive or more efficient than things that you used to do in the past, like maybe when you were in corporate or again, when you experienced burnout, it's like that got you here, but it's not the thing that's going to get you to where you're going next. So I'll just pause there.
Yeah, so well said, Kate. And I love that example that you just gave. And I want to just kind of double click on that for a moment and also give, of course, our audience a moment too, to just let that land. Maybe there was something that Kate just said that, you just like, you felt something, like whether there was like a physical response, like maybe you felt like something shift in your own body, like there was like, I don't know, maybe like some tingling or warmth or like a deeper breath or maybe like a bracing, like maybe there was something that you actually were kind of like your system was like bracing a little bit, or maybe it was like more thought-based. You were just there were certain thoughts that you're like, that sounds really familiar, or like I know that, or I've experienced that. And what you were sharing, Kate, around, like, I just love how you put that, because the word that kept coming up for me as you were speaking was intensity. There's like a certain level of intensity, right? And and again, so very intense, right? Like you said, like 45 minutes, and I got it like, it's very rigid too. It was like very rigid. Not that structure is, we need structure, but like when we start to get kind of very rigid with like our practices, like you said, because almost like your system was like holding on. So like, this is the thing that's going to keep me safe, right? Like, because if I keep doing this, then I'm going to get this outcome, right? And it's like almost like sort of formulaic that are, some ways we can get attached to things. And even like you said, like even when we start to, maybe there are some results that even get produced from doing the thing, right? Like the title of this whole live that you're talking about, like some of the things that you maybe were doing in the past did work to some degree, right? Did yield some results. Therefore, that's why you're going back to them, or you keep doing them, because they were yielding a result. So, and the thing I want to share around that piece too, and I think we've made this once before in like another live, so I'm going to just share it again. Something can work and it still not be sustainable, right?
Yep.
And I've seen this time and time again in different spaces. And again, not to like, we're not criticizing like other teachers or other people that do different modalities, but like there might be some relief that you get, but it doesn't stay. There's no lasting peace. So you have to keep coming back to the thing in order to maintain whatever peace that was giving you. So it's like you're kind of on this hamster wheel. And I've talked to people that are, you know, again, like the clients I've had, and I've also experienced this for myself too. So again, you're not alone if this is you, but like I do that meditation, whether it's Joe Dispenza or someone else for 45 minutes. And if you do feel like some like clarity or like, you know, there's like more of that sympathetic activation. So you feel like you want to mobilize, you want to do, or have all these ideas all of a sudden that you want to act on, or maybe again, like you start to like see some momentum happening in your life, in your business or personally, but then it's fleeting. Like you have to keep coming back to the meditation or back to the thing in order to keep, you know, feeling
it's like a hit. It's like I gotta get
exactly. It's like a hit. Like,
yeah.
and that's I'm just gonna call it out because it's kind of counterfeit peace. Like it's not.
Yeah.
It's not truth. It's not, because anything that's really true and lasting wouldn't be that temporary. We wouldn't need to keep having to work so hard for it, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that's interesting, right? When you think about regulation work, it's like if we need to intentionally regulate ourselves through all these tools all the time. And of course, there's seasons of life, whether you're moving through chronic symptoms, parenthood, like there's going to be seasons where maybe you rely on those things more, just given the nature of what's happening in life. But if you're like constantly relying on those things to be regulated, then your nervous system isn't regulated. Like there's dysregulation there. It looks like Laura got kicked out for a moment, but there you are, you're back with us. So yeah, it's like, again, they're tools for a reason, but if we're constantly relying on them and having to lean so heavily on them, and if we don't feel capable or equipped without them, then that's usually a sign that there's like another layer underneath that needs to be looked at and needs to be, I don't know if like worked on is the best word, because this work is work, but it doesn't always have to feel like work. Sometimes this work is actually about, we've talked about this in previous lives, it's just about like pausing and giving space to what is in that moment instead of trying to regulate it away. So just if you're resonating with this, if you're tuning in, whether it's live or you're watching the replay and you're like, if I'm being really honest with myself, maybe I have really been leaning on some of the tools or even the regulation work a lot, just know that is not wrong or bad. That just, there's no shame here around that, but that just might be a sign to follow. Like maybe what I'm actually doing isn't truly creating sustainability in my life or in my business.
So good, Kate. Yeah, I love that you named that, and like kind of actually is a perfect entryway to like this next piece of like what we want to talk with you all today. Is like he was just referencing, like it's almost like our systems are naturally designed to regulate themselves. Actually, like we are so beautifully designed, like where our nervous systems expand and contract. Like a threat comes in, our system responds to the threat, and then we go back right into state of safety, right? That's how we were designed. And so, like you were sharing, Kate, like it's almost like if it starts starting to feel like a little bit of a hamster wheel where you're doing the tools, but like if you were to skip a day or whatever, like, not do them, and you still feel like this unease or this like, agitation all the time, or feel like you're constantly reacting versus responding. And that's just, again, a sign, right, that your system's needing a little bit more. And what is that more? So just briefly, I wanted to share that what we're talking about today is this aspect of capacity, building nervous system capacity. And so, again, maybe the things that you used to try or they used to do, like, were working, but they're not working now, or they're not working in the same way, or starting to feel like a little bit of that hamster wheel that we've been talking about here. That's a sign that your system needs more capacity. So there's like our systems, right? Like, and we talked about this before, like almost like you were thinking about a cup, right? And so eventually, right, this cup can get very full when you start putting in like we got our, our childhood, we got our family, we got our work stuff, professional, right? And then before you know it, this cup is like overflowing, right? And maybe we're adding in regulation tools here. Maybe the water like goes down like a little bit, but like it's still really full the cup. So there's one or two things. You need to have a bigger cup, right? We need to get you a bigger cup, or we need to take some of that liquid out of the cup, right? And so what we're talking about here is like giving you a bigger cup, because life is still going to life. There's still going to be things, right? They're going to be stressful. So again, this also isn't about eliminating stress here. Right? This is actually about helping your system so that when something does show up, you don't need to reach for a regulation tool every time. You can actually sit with and be with what is showing up for you emotionally, mentally, physically, and it feels tolerable. It doesn't feel like something that I can't like be with right now. I have to like run away and like do meditation or do a tool, or I gotta, I gotta, constantly be trying to make this go away.
Yeah, the word that's coming up for me right now is like liberation. Like that is just such a liberating feeling to know that I actually don't have to rely on anything external in order to feel sourced and capable and steady and at peace in my internal experience. And that's exactly what we're going to be diving into in the March 11th experience. I linked it again for those of you that are maybe just tuning in or just catching up on the replay. We've linked it here. We're going to be, going through a live experience called the sky isn't the limit. Your nervous system capacity is. And so this session is going to be just an hour session. So just 1 hour of your time, not motivation, not mindset, not more tools or tactics. We're actually going to be walking you through an exercise where you're going to measure your own personal capacity. So you're going to leave with a capacity score. And we're going to walk you through a framework and a specific tool and next step to actually increase your capacity in real time. So this isn't just like learning and taking notes or getting trained. This is actually like something that you're going to leave the room with more capacity than when you walked in. And so we like to call it an infrastructure upgrade.
Yes.
So your nervous system is your operating system. It's your infrastructure for everything in life and everything in business. And so think of this session as, a real-time infrastructure upgrade.
I love that. Yeah, we're so excited for this experience. The sky isn't the limit. Your nervous system capacity is. And for those of you, maybe you've seen I'm going to drop the link too on Instagram so you can check out the page there. It's on March 11th. There will be a replay also available. I've had a few people reach out and ask if there'll be a replay. Absolutely. So if you're in a different time zone and like it just doesn't work out for you to like it's the middle of the night, like no worries, it'll be recorded. But we would like to encourage those of you that can make it live to be live. There is just something that I think we like the way we've designed this experience, you're going to get so much out of it too through the replay, but also like if you are able to attend live, like Kate and I just we just know like there's just something extra special about being in a room when it's live like this. Yeah.
Well said, Laura. Well said.
Yeah. Amazing. Well, that's going to be all for today. Like I said, we're going to probably talk more about this topic, Kate. Like, I feel like we could obviously like continue to speak about this, but we'd love to see you on March 11th. And of course we will be doing another shift call next Thursday. So next week, we're going to be going into another topic that we're also really excited for and passionate about. And it links to also this March 11th experience and kind of is almost like a part 2 to what we've been talking about even today. So we would love to see you live also here next week, next Thursday on the shift. Any last thoughts, Kate, before we wrap up?
No, I don't think so. Yeah, just feel free to reach out if you have questions about the experience. If you go to the link for the March 11th experience, you'll go to a page to sign up, and there's a lot of information there on like who the experience is for. And I just encourage you to, just check it out. If you're already like leaning in, you're like, yes, I need to be there. Feel free to sign up. And if you're also like, if you have questions, feel free to reach out to us directly or just check out the link and you can learn more there. I think one thing I would love to do as we, just wind down before we wind down is just pause. If you're able to stay with us for another like 60 seconds, is just take a moment and place your hand, either hand, right hand, left hand, or maybe even both, just on your chest or on another area of your body where maybe you noticed some sensation or some tension or some tightness today. So I mentioned, my jaw earlier. So maybe for you, it's just like putting your hands and just cupping your jaw very gently. Maybe it's your belly, or maybe even just placing one hand on your back. Yeah, and just noticing here, maybe there's some buzziness, some excitement from what you've been hearing. Things are landing. Maybe you're already checking out the March 11th experience and getting signed up for that. And just taking a moment to ask yourself this question. If more success came in tomorrow, and just success feels really broad, right? So I just invite you to insert that with something really specific that has been on your heart in this season. So maybe it's working with a particular client. Maybe it's a certain revenue or income goal. Maybe if you're a leader and you work for another company, maybe it's a promotion or landing a job at XYZ company. Maybe it's motherhood. Maybe it's, becoming a mom. Maybe it's something in your spiritual life. So just getting really clear here. If more of that, or if that thing came in tomorrow, what do you notice? Does that feel more spacious? Or is there a tightness or a bracing or a quiet tension that shows up? When the possibility of this actually arrives. So just take 20 seconds here just to notice that. Again, we're just noticing. So the goal isn't to make it go away or to make it make sense or even to fully understand it logically. But that sensation right there, what you're noticing, and it might even be a thought. It doesn't have to be a physical sensation. Maybe it's just a thought. And that's information too. But that right there, that sensation or that thought, or maybe it's even more of an emotion that you're noticing, that right there is your threshold. And this is exactly what we're going to be working with and going deeper when we meet together live on March 11th.
Yeah, perfect way to wrap us up, Kate. Thank you for, just pausing us all to just drop in for that 60 seconds just now and tune in. I was definitely noticing some things when you were just leading us through that felt really edgy. It felt like I was a little bit on an edge, which felt exciting, and also I was a little bit nervous. And I'm always getting a little bit excited when I'm in that place because it's I'm feeling stretched here, and I love the stretch zone.
Yeah, the stretch zone is a great place to be. It can feel a little uncomfortable by design.
Yeah. Yes, exactly.
We're moving closer into territory that we haven't been before. Yeah, but that's exactly where we learn, we grow, we experience new things, and we become the version of us that has and does and sustains the very thing that it is that we're wanting right now.
Exactly, sustains. I love that. Yeah, sustainability and sovereignty. Those are the two words that really are alive for me right now. Yeah, I love it.
Oh, so beautiful, Laura. Thank you for sharing your personal experience with us. And if there's anything you want to name that you're experiencing now that you feel called to share, feel free to drop that in the comment or send Laura and I a private message and share with us. But this is just a little tiny taste of what we're going to be getting into on March 11th. So we really hope that you'll join us there, whether it's live or during by watching the replay. And we look forward to seeing you back here on the shift next Thursday, same time, same place.
Thanks everyone. Have a good week.